Well, today is May 4th, and May the 4th be with you. But we're back out here after a lengthy rain delay. Got a bunch of rain last week, but we are back out here on this beautiful Monday evening. Been side dressing all day. Got started about I don't know, 8 o'clock, 8:30. Had a few minor issues to work out, but we're working on right now. But out here and some no-till corn. We're gonna give her some go-go juice. Tell her come home. You can see all these mare's tail out here. Our burn down didn't get the mare's tail for some reason. Before the rain last week, we come in here and hit it with some status and atrazine, and then we're gonna come back in here and hit it with our post-emergent herbicide as well. Maybe knock these mare's tail out. We're gonna have to swap up a burn down program next year just to get these mare's tail. Beautiful evening this evening. As you can see, we put the duals back on. He ran one day and he said, we're not doing that no more. We're putting the duals back on it. Without the duals, the tractor, he said, wanted to kind of fishtail, but them duals help stabilize it, and he said it's doing a lot better. This is a 26 acre farm that we picked up last year. It's got a big nice front out there, but then you gotta swing around and come through this little neck here, and then it opens, as you can see back up here. But a really nice farm. Believe it or not, the best beans we cut last year was on this farm right here, with a final stand of a spotty 80,000. They ended up being the best beans we cut last year. Planted the end of March, so we didn't experiment, and we was debating on whether replanting them, and Dylan's like, no, I've been hearing that you can make good beans with 80,000 bush or 80,000 stands, so we left them, and they ended up being some of the better beans we cut. Right there's the front, but there's a ditch that runs between these trees right here, and the landlord don't want us to take out the trees. He said leave the trees, so we're working it as so. Well, I thought I'd bring y'all along for a little bit of the side dress action. We got the old easy steering, so I can talk to y'all for a minute. Running these middles here on some pretty little no-till corn. This is one of them new farms we picked up. I was pleasantly surprised when I come through the fence row and saw this corn. Right through that gap there is the river bottom, and the river bottom looks alright, but you can tell that ground's been a lot more saturated than this ground up here. I'm getting pretty good at counting to 7. what I do, I find where that last coaster ran, and well, right there's the reason I hardly ever talk to you guys up here in the cab anymore. I can be up here enjoying myself, listening to music, everything go perfect. And then the minute I decide to turn on the YouTube camera, something's gonna go wrong. I don't know if you can see it, but that outside shank over there, earlier in the day, I don't know what happened, but the line broke. We ran up there to Napa, got a splice kit. I bought a screwdriver where I didn't have to go back home and get the service truck. Well, something happened and it got down there and the hose got cut again. So now I've got her tied up. I took one of my old red rags, actually this oldest one, and I tied that hose. I didn't have any cable ties, so when you're out here on the farm with nothing, you make do with what you got. So I ripped that old rag up and made a makeshift cable tie. This bar is a 15 shank bar, and the way they had it set up, the outside shanks put on the double shot. That way, those two outer rows, you know, you got the same amount because you're skipping the middle. Well, me being the peculiar son of a gun that I am, I could not stand that, and I'll tell you more about it when I get turned around. I would actually prefer this to be a 17 shank rig wherever center got plowed. And if it was a 17 shank rig, the outside shank would get a half shot because you turn around and run that same shank down the middle. So it'd be, you know, you'd be getting a full shot. So what Dylan come up with, well, we're planting this on an upgraded signal anyways, as you can tell, because I'm running the auto steer side dressing. Well, why am I paying these big dollars for this upgraded signal if I can't just run down the middles wherever I want to run down the middles? So what I did, I set my GPS on 37.5 foot, which is what 15 shanks is, and just put the same nozzle as all the rest of the deals. Now instead of running 40 foot, I'm running 37.5, but every row is getting exactly the same amount of dosage, and every middle is getting plowed. I know that probably shouldn't bother me as much as it did, but I could not stand for a center to be skipped being plowed. And I wanted good uniform coverage, so
that's the solution I came up with. No doubling up and no skipping a row. So we gave up 2.5 foot, but I feel like the machine is doing a much better job that way. And I mean, it don't really matter because I'm running a 16-row bar behind an 8-row planter anyways.
So our liquid bar, it's been running really good. And I think he said it's the best bar he's run out of all the many liquid bars that we've run over the years. This will be our 3rd one. But he likes it the best, so much that I think he's talking about this summer pulling it in there and doing a major overhaul of it. New coulters, talking about putting a hydraulic pump on it and section control, and running it through our microtrack rate controller that we use for the in-furrow, or used to use for the in-furrow. We talked about that and maybe repainting it, but we'll see. Other than a few things, it's hasn't really given us much trouble, knock on wood. But we're winding down on the end of side dressing here. We got about two more loads on the truck and about another 2,000 gallons at the shop, and we're gonna run that out and then let Co-op side dress the rest with urea. We put this bar through her paces.
Some people were worried or wondering how it was going to work out running this 16-row bar behind an 8-row planter. Knock on wood, there has not been any difficulties at all. It is rather smoothly. The planter man's just got to pay attention to what he's doing. I ran some of what Robert planted. Some of it was a little bit of a challenge, but hey, he's been used to planting beans. He ain't had to pay near the attention that you do when you plant corn. I'm gonna run the side dress rig until we run out of liquid. I think we got about 8,000 gallons left. And then Robert's actually on his way to pick up, to fill the trailer back up right now. And then when we run out of liquid, I think I'm gonna let the Co-op just sling urea on the rest of it. Treated urea. Should be about 100 acres, that, if I figured right. And while they're spreading that, they'll let us get a jump on going on and finish spraying. Right now, we just started back side dressing today. We had a pretty big rain. I was enjoying the dry spring for a change, and we got hammered. Got like 3 inches of rain right after I planted these river bottoms. So I was like, oh Lord have mercy, they're gonna be a do-over. But as far as I can tell from riding over it, we got a full stand, so that is a good thing. Just need some sunshine and some heat. Things are a little cooler than what I'd like for them to be, but if we'd ever get a little heat, this corn here, this little baby corn here would take off. Get her in gear. I'll tell you one thing I have not got used to, and that is turning like I have a 16-row bar back here. I keep trying to turn like I'm pulling an 8-row planter, and I forget I'm pulling a 16-row piece of equipment. I should have never pulled a 16-row bar because it seriously has me thinking about a 16-row planter. But I'm about out of liquid. I'm gonna have to get off here and start watching my pressure gauge pretty slowly and go up there to where Robert's gonna meet me. Pit stop. I know one thing, we've been running through this stuff. Robert got a 3-inch pump at the tanks. Now I want a 3-inch pump on the truck.
We need one.
But when we get to doing corn chemicals, we can barely get all the chemical in there before the sprayer.
I will say one good thing about the rain delay last week was I got to do a lot of fishing. Well, me and Dylan both did. We got to do a lot of fishing. I think I went every day, but one went fishing. Caught some really nice bass out of our grandmother's pond there. One weighed 4 pounds, one weighed 3.5, and then I caught one. I'm sure he was over 5. He was good enough. I thought about getting him mounted, and then we caught a bunch of catfish. We was out there, me and Dylan was out there on the little old paddle boat in the middle of the pond, and I snagged that big old bass. He's like, "Oh, you just got a little old tree limb hung. That's what it is." And then that big old bass jumped up out of the water. He's like, "Ah, reel faster, reel faster." But I got him reeled in, and I'll get Dylan to add some pictures. But I've been trying to get him to talk him into doing a fishing video like old Bill Dance and Hank Parker and all them we used to do. The Joyce Brothers Outdoors. Getting y'all them sunset shots. But Thursday is when we caught that big old bass, and we went fishing all day, and then Michelle and Walt, whenever they got out of school there, they come down there and caught a bunch of fish, a bunch of catfish. I think we caught about eight catfish, and then I caught that big bass, and then Dylan caught 2 little bass, and then Mama and Daddy came down there, so it was a good afternoon. Walt's birthday was the 29th on Wednesday, and then Grace's birthday was yesterday, the 3rd, so wish them a happy birthday, or late birthday. But we had their birthday party Saturday, and had a good time. But I gotta get up here and get him filled back up.